Cypress Fairbanks Independent School District presents PBIS 201, Strengthening Classroom Management with Proactive Strategies, Part 1 of 2. Now that you understand the basics from PBIS 101, we'll dive deeper into how you can use PBIS to enhance your classroom management. The topics we'll cover in PBIS 201 Part 1 are the matrix and the use of praise. In these two areas, we'll focus on being preventive and proactive to help decrease the likelihood of problem behaviors occurring. Let's start with campus behavioral expectations, which are listed on your matrix. The matrices identify various school locations and describe what behavior expectations look like in that particular setting. The specific expectations are described in a concise and positive manner. Using each of the matrix as a teaching tool can provide opportunities for students to learn necessary skills to be successful in each of the areas of the campus. It also gives teachers a way to provide specific feedback regarding on-task or off-task behaviors exhibited by the students. Using the campus matrices is a great way to build classroom cohesiveness as well as school culture. And last but not least, using each area matrix provides a tool for teachers to pre-teach, reinforce, and redirect student behaviors. Using these tools will proactively cut down on student misbehavior. Using the matrix as a preventative strategy to bring structure to a classroom and school is great, but keep in mind it takes more than just having the posters up on the wall for this strategy to work. You must have complete knowledge of the wording on each matrix in order to be able to pre-teach, reinforce, and redirect students in the moment. Maximum benefit will come when you can think on your feet and effectively shape a student's behavior. In PBIS 101, we taught and reviewed some examples of using the matrix to shape behavior. But now let's use some scenarios to become a little more proficient with these concepts. In our first scenario, you want your students to follow safety guidelines in your science class. Using the matrix shown, what statement might you say to pre-teach safety? I'll pause and give you a minute to write down your pre-teach statement. You might say something like, "Today, it will be important to use wise choices. Think before you act, as completing the steps out of order will cause your outcome to be incorrect." For this example, I'd like you to use the matrix provided to pre-teach the students your expectations about leaving the room the first and last 10 minutes of each class. I'll pause and give you a minute to write down your pre-teach statement. You might say something like, "To ensure you reach your achievement goals, you will not be allowed to leave the classroom the first and last 10 minutes of each class. This way, everyone will be able to complete their warm-up and exit ticket each day." Now let's look at how to reinforce behaviors. Riley often has difficulty with voices off in the hall. Today you notice him silently walk into the library. How would you use the hallway matrix to reinforce Riley's on-task behaviors? I'll pause and give you a minute to write down your reinforcement statement. You might say, "Riley, I'm so impressed with the self-control you showed walking to the library today. I'm really proud of you." Resist the urge to be snarky towards Riley. Save that comment for when you get in your car. Use the matrix shown to reinforce Josh for turning in his homework assignment. I'll pause and give you a minute to write down your reinforcement statement. It's easy to be sarcastic since Josh has not turned in his homework assignment for the last 2 months. But Sarcasm does not have a place in the classroom. Every student is different, and they may not see your comment as funny. So stay professional and say something like, "Way to take ownership by bringing your homework, Josh. Thank you." Let's move on and practice using the matrix to redirect student behavior. Cora is having a difficult time waiting her turn at the water fountain. She keeps complaining loudly that people need to hurry up. I'll pause and give you a minute to write down your redirecting statement. Every behavior is an opportunity to teach. You just have to see it that way. For Cora, you might say something like, "Cora, would you read the first bullet under A, attitude, for me, please?" After Cora reads the bullet, let her know that it's sometimes challenging to wait patiently, but you have complete faith in her and you know that she can do it. Sometimes the students just need a little reminder, or, more importantly, that you believe in them. In our last scenario, John is frustrated that the marker he is trying to use has dried up and he yells in class. I'll pause and give you a minute to write down your redirecting statement. You'd probably want to walk over to John and say something like, "I understand your frustration with the marker, but please be respectful of your classmates who are working and keep your voice down. Do you know where I keep the extra markers?" Using the matrix as a teaching tool is easy when you're familiar with what each says. I challenge you to begin working the matrix into your daily routine as you pre-teach, reinforce, and redirect. Now let's talk about praise. Praise can have a powerful effect on your students. The right kind of praise can turn around behavior challenges or improve students' attitudes about learning. Teachers who praise regularly tend to have better relationships with their students. Next, we'll learn about 3 types of praise. First, we'll start with general praise. Whenever you use words like "wow," "good job," or exhibit physical movements like a head nod or a smile, you're giving and showing general praise. The next type of praise is specific praise. When using specific praise, you describe the what. Specific praise works because it provides more details than general praise. It links praise to a behavior and provides motivation for the future. Specific praise may sound like, "Good job raising your hand and waiting," or, "I'm impressed that you took time to help Shane today. Thank you." Typically, we are excellent at providing specific praise for academics, but we also need to praise behavior. Praise requires judgment and knowing students' circumstances and their journey. The more you know about your students, the better the praise will be received. The last type of praise is called effective praise. What makes this type of praise different is that you're adding the why. Effective praise is used most often when a new skill is being developed or students are having trouble with a skill. With effective praise, you tie all 3 types of praise together. In this example, you're giving the general praise of "thank you," the specific praise of "for raising your hand and waiting," and the effective praise of "when you wait, you show you're respectful to me and your fellow students." The goal of praise is for students to be reinforced either verbally or tangibly for their positive behavior choices. Now let's see how proficient you are at using your classroom matrix to praise students. In our first example, Yolanda is a good student who works hard. She turned in her assignment, which summarized a passage clearly using good sentence structure. What type of praise would you give her, and which part of the classroom matrix would you reference? I'll give you a minute to think about this. Yes, general praise. Why would we give general praise to a student who does well so much of the time? Yolanda is what we call, in PBIS terms, a green student. It does not take much to fill her bucket. Please note I'm not saying that you only give green students general praise. It's important that you vary their praise as well. In our next example, Deshaun is doing a nice job working with others at his table. He listened well and helped other students. Deshaun has struggled in the past, and since you've been practicing with him, has improved with less incidents. Which type of praise would you give Deshaun and why? What part of the matrix would you use? I'll give you a minute to think about your answer. Yes, you would use specific praise, as you're wanting to reinforce the progress Deshaun has made. Hopefully, your praise will encourage him to continue to choose kindness when working with others. In our last scenario, Max is argumentative when told no and is not well liked in his classroom. Today, he began to argue with you about a topic but stopped himself. He used a calm voice and said, "Okay," and sat back down at his table. Which type of praise would you give Max and why? What part of the matrix would you use? I'll give you a minute to think about your answer. Yes, effective praise is correct. Max would be considered, according to our PBIS triangle, more of a yellow or red student. Oftentimes, these students do better when they hear and understand the why. Be mindful of how and where you praise Max. Because you know your students, you remember that Max does better with private praise. In summary, how can you use the matrices that are on your campus as teaching tools? We discussed that the matrices can be used to teach new and needed skills, provide immediate feedback, create a common language on campus, and to be used to pre teach, reinforce, and redirect expected behaviors. Do you accept my challenge to begin using the matrix in your daily routine as you pre teach, reinforce, and redirect? I do hope you do. And to summarize praise, remember there are three types: general praise, which is quick and easy; specific praise, that enlightens the student as to what they're doing correctly so they can do it again; and effective praise, which explains the why behind the expected behaviors. Challenge yourself to give as much behavioral praise as you do academic praise. Thank you for joining me today, and I do hope you continue to PBIS 201, Strengthening Classroom Management with Proactive Strategies, Part 2.